Okay, this is Elliot Wave Sage. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for education and entertainment purposes. I always start off with a quick market update. I won't do a separate video today for market update. I'll just do it as the first part of my live stream and then go into your questions later. But what a crazy day again. It's not necessarily erratic price action, but very whipsaw-like price action. There's a lot of fear from both sides of the market. Today is bears are afraid. Yesterday bulls were afraid. So this is typical violent swings happen all the time. At some point, I do believe it will resolve lower. I do believe that. I always like to get other opinions too, and there's people that I do follow, and they also have using a completely different system than me. They all say we should go lower. So and I'm just not finding people saying it's Moon Boy. Now there are a couple that are playing the Moon Boy scenario that I know, but they're perma bulls. They're always going to play Moon Boy. So to me that's irrelevant. They're always trying to bottom ticket. And like I said, for the most part, you get lucky, and they may get another one, and that's been working until it doesn't. So, but that's not my trading system or style. I always wait to get more confirmation before I switch. So that's why I'm more patient, but other people aren't. That's okay. And then there's really no trade setup using my system. I show these charts only for education. It's not like if the chart is here, it means go short, back short, or if the chart is here, you go. Like this is just for just to draw some lines based on the highest probability path I see, but it doesn't mean it's actually a way to trade it. The trade, I always say trades I'll try to point out more, like what I think could be a good trade, but even then you need to make your good decision. You can't blame me for a bad decision. You can't, you have to accept the consequences of your actions. And if you want someone to just do everything for you, then have someone manage your money. Don't trade. So anyway, guys, it's still 1-2-1-2. It could see now this 39,768, which is 300 points higher to finish the three swings. What's most important is this RSI doesn't exceed that peak as it happens. Until then, it's still a valid corrective wave. Nothing changes, just noise. Could it end any moment? Sure, the divergence is erased. It could end early, any moment, but it could push higher. SPY. So the SPY is real tricky, guys. There's two scenarios. One is very bearish. So let's start with the very bearish one because that's pretty obvious. So we have to label it this way now. And the 4-hour cycle broke today on it. And people are like, oh, does that mean it's the bottom? Does it the bottom? Well, possibly, but I don't think that's the case at all. Let me see here if I can line this up right. I was just doing this a second ago, and I thought maybe it was on the daily. One of these broke. Hold on. Yeah, it was a daily, I think. There. Okay. So the daily, see that little peak above that line? So what that tells me is this little pump is a whole new cycle higher. Okay, so this corrective wave I think is finished. So the most bearish outcome is this is the connector right there, and that's all you get out of it. And guess what? If that happens, it'll go all the way down from, let's just say it goes into that level. We're looking at 480, 467, 446. Okay, I'm just saying that. So that's the most bearish outcome and very possible. The next likely path is this path, and I showed this earlier as a much bigger chop connector, where you come all the way back up, and then a massive drop down in an AB, a big old messy flat, and that is also possible. Now you can see why I don't want to trade the indices, because how do you know which one it's going to be? You don't know. There's no idea. Now that we're making a new cycle higher, could it be done and go higher from here to new all-time highs? I don't call that yet, only because I want to wait. I need to see other stocks break this July 15th high that are in mega cap tech. If I could see some mega cap tech break out, I'll be convinced then possibly the market is bottomed, okay? But I need that. That's the type of confirmation I'm looking for before I even think about going to the long side and switching long. But there'll be time to look at that, and we'll look at the big cap tech later. So that's the 4-hour cycle. Okay, shows me that. But this I think is the most likely path given the violent and most erratic nature of the market, and that seems to be what the market wants to do. But if you're like, oh, I'm just going to go long because that, just remember there is a super bearish path that you'll absolutely get annihilated in if it plays out. So that's why I don't recommend trading the indices right now. But people want to do it. Okay, so do it. But just understand, that's why when people are asking me, short here, long this, I'm just on the sidelines, guys, watching this. I'm just eating my popcorn. Because I'm not trading the indices. I'm not going to trade in messy structures like this. Now, down here, if we get this, absolutely I'm a buyer. Here is a mess. Would I short up here? No. Would I short that? No. I'm just going to wait. I got to wait. This to me is not tradable in base how I trade. But anyway, that's how I look at this. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is for now. But I think for the most part, you still have this weekly cycle. Let's take a look at where we are with that. So we don't have a weekly cycle break yet, so that's why the SPY could still be in wave 4 here. And I guess I somehow lost one of my labels. I'll have to put it back on, where this was a 4 and a 5, if we remember right here. Yeah, with an extension. So I'll relabel that later. I'm not sure what happened. I must have deleted it by accident. So anyway, so if the 4 is here, we'll push higher. Once we see mega cap tech stocks breaking these highs, then okay, maybe you could be a believer and it could go to a new high. But the high will fail. Then you'll finish the 4 because then it'll be a wave 5. But I don't want to trade this. The triple Qs is the same kind of situation. Here the 4-hour I think was the one that broke here. Yeah, just broke through. Not decisively, but enough that you could say the same thing. I could put it done here, make it 3 waves, and then a big decline down. So the worst case bearish target is, if that plays out, would be all the way back down to 368, 348. If that plays out, that's the most bearish target if this is a connector for this whole move. And it very well could be now. Now, of course, the most likely path is the one I showed you with the SPY, this A, B, C, and then you get this low, and then you probably come back to the 410 area. Okay, again, I don't like to trade this mess. A lot of traders are probably losing a lot. They're getting chopped up to death here. That's what I'm thinking, unless you're very nimble. IWM is still in wave 2. It actually could still be over here. It could push higher to 212. No idea. You'll have to decide what you want to do with that. Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin, here's your third wave target. I mentioned if this high broke, it would go up to 62.63. 63.23 is the target, but one of the things we saw after hours is BITI hit its target exactly on a beautiful 3-wave pullback. So this is tied to Bitcoin, so there's a possibility Bitcoin topped here. We just don't know for sure yet, obviously, but I do expect this to fail, and based on this, the target would be at 42,000, exactly where I want it. So I'm still looking for more downside in Bitcoin. I just said double correction. Oil pushed higher in wave 2, but this is in 5 waves. So it's either going to be a more complex correction in oil like this, or we're going to get a quick surge higher, the race divergence, or we're in this higher degree 2 in an A, B, C, and then we get rejected at 80 for a massive crash. One or the other. So I don't like trading oil anymore. There was a short here, but that's gone. That opportunity is no longer valid. So I'll just leave it labeled like this for now. Silver finished 5 waves. Now it's in 5 here. The 5th wave could be done, and we could come all the way back up to 30, or wave 5 can extend, and this could be a 1-2, and we can keep going lower. We just don't know yet. dollar index, because we took this high out here and did not continue, we reset the cycle, which means to me, I think we're back into this kind of triangle pattern is what I'm looking for the dollar index. The bond market was really treacherous today. I'll kind of try to explain what I saw today. So going into the morning, the 10-year wasn't at the target. That was the first clue that this trap was being set because the 10-year was not at the target area. And then it ended up hitting the target exactly, and then it stopped. So I think this is why the market was not in sync, was not fully aligned in the bond market. And so it rallied and the 10-year hit its target. And once that did, everything's now turning down. So I think that's what happened here. As you could see, we have race divergence on the 4-hour. The 20-year as well, race divergence. And also even on the 45. So this was just a fake little run your stops pump. And now I believe it is over. And it's just like an ugly little pump to just get people out of their positions, shake out weak hands so they can mark it down. That's what I think's happening here. Okay? That's what I think's happening here. I don't have this labeled yet. I have to label this. So but the 20-year and 10-year kind of show you. Now, one thing we want to keep an eye on in the bond market is the daily cycle. If the daily cycle breaks this trend line that we have here, then this leg is finished, and more than likely we're going to go to new all-time highs in rates in this cycle. So we got to keep an eye on that. So if we have another day like today, the bond market may not be going, rates may not be falling anymore, which would surprise a lot of people, including me. But the market's going to do what it's going to do. That's why I always say sometimes I can be wrong. I could be wrong. The VIX was interesting today. The VIX stayed in this kind of support area. It respected the low, and it looks like it's down in 5. The last time we went down in 5, it surged up. It could be at least a move back up to 27 or even higher. Who knows? UVIX, the same thing. It's in a buy area. Looks like a flat correction. Should hopefully swing out of this. As long as we're above this low, VIX is still bullish. Okay, the market is still at risk of a drop. It may be a significant one. The yen is always important for us to follow. The yen is important because it's driving the market. And as you can see here, the yen can either push higher by breaking this high, which seems to be risk on. But if we don't do that, and this is the peak here, then it's massive risk off coming as this whole new leg takes shape. So very important moment for the yen. Let's look at the Japanese market real quick and see how they're doing on open. Looks like they're moving higher again, so we'll have to wait. It's really, again, important for it to take this high out. If it does, it's only 3 swings, and that's actually pretty positive because then it's a corrective move, which could support this being a 4, which also could support this making that one last push higher. Supported markets. That may be our first clue that we're going to get this pattern in the indices. This pattern that I show here, and not this really big crash pattern like we have there. That may be a clue. But again, it's none of that. There's really no good trade setup there. Okay, that is it for the market overview, guys. I'll go into your questions and see what you got want answered. All right, I'll start at the top like I normally do. Let's go to X tactic. What is X tactic? I'm not sure what X tactic is, but okay. Well, cool. All right, Ponzi, CEG. Let's take a look at CEG. Let's see what we got here. So, like I said, I've been watching a lot of other guys that I follow. They're all predicting more downside, okay? Using different systems. So it's not like I'm like going off on a limb It's actually pretty rare for all these guys I follow to we all kind of saying the same thing. Maybe that's kind of scary. All right, so here is this area for a bounce. Now you got this. So we all know we're in a connector, okay? What the connector does is anyone's guess. So we're not going to try to guess what the connector does because that's gotten us, but I believe it's looking to do something like this. I think that's what you're doing. So you got your connector, but that's going to fail because of the lower low sequence there at some point. So the most likely path is the one I'll show you here, and then you'll just have to decide. But this to me is obviously a no trade area. This is a sidelines. I don't trade chop like that. I don't trade in this area at all. This is just how a lot of traders lose all their money, is trading in this shit. Now, this is the most likely path. It could still push even higher, but that's what I'm thinking right now. But I definitely feel like there's one more leg lower coming. All right, got another super chat from Jonathan. Appreciate it. Yeah, I just gave that full market update. Let's go into your question. TM and spot on short on SPY if drop. All right, let's look at TEM. Let's look at TEM. So TEM made 5 waves up and basically puked straight down, just like we said. We gave this chart, guys. I mean, we called the top. I hope you're. I assume you're the one that asked it, and I hope you made a ton of money. But now what's going to happen? Well, you came between the 4 and the 2. You erased divergence, so there's no guarantee, and there's not enough chart data. Look at this correction straight down. So this could be the low. That could be the low. So you have to assume that's the low. You have to. So now it's pulling out of this. So I'd be looking for that. And if you really look, it looks like you have 5 waves up. And you have that capitulation right there. So as long as you're above 36.69, you could have a big breakout coming in TEM. And we pretty much called every swing right on this. Every single swing. I think we called every single swing right on this. So I hope it's working out for you. Spot for short on SPY if drop. Well, if it drops, I don't short. Okay, so again, maybe I misunderstand your question, but this is a good example. I had a trader say that they went short right here. Okay, that's my system. You don't go short there. Okay, you don't go short there. You buy. You would actually maybe buy there, but not short. You don't short. But a lot of traders, they like the momentum, right? They'll short like, oh my God, it's falling. I'll just short the momentum, and then it does. So you don't do that. So the short play on the in this index is right where I have this box right there, 538, 540. That's the next short play, if you want to take it. But you may be shorted into the teeth of wave 3 of C, if it's this. So you better just stop out. Like try it. I guess there's a little gap there. Try it, and if you get lucky, you get lucky. If not, you stop out, and then you got this coming. And then here, there's really no way to find the target that well. That's the only short opportunity in the SPY that I can see right now is if you hit this area, right? What I've got. If the market wants to pump, they want to do one of these stupid pumps tomorrow. The FOMO pump, manipulate you with news. Like this report that came out this morning never moves the market. It's a trivial report, but they amplified it because they're desperate for you to buy the indices. They're desperate for you to go in the market so they can dump their bags. And I mean, there is so much desperate because they know if this fails, it's game over for a lot. I mean, they're giving it all they got because they're talking the end of the grand super cycle maybe. So you think it's going to end that easy? The buyers are going to come and go for a fight, and they're going to use all questionable means. Amplifying news that's meaningless, trying to cancel a war or manipulate a country. Like there is people much richer than us that are behind the scenes begging Iran not to invade because they know it'll crash the market, and they got billions at stake. So there is a lot of stress and shit going on behind the scenes that's creating this erratic price action right now. And we're just caught up going along for the ride. Okay, let's keep going. VM. Yeah, TLT and TF. Let's go look at TLT, guys. Again, TLT kind of follows the 20-year. So before we go into that, the 20-year is still in a buy area. It just did a fake out, a stop run, and like I said, it raised divergence. So it was just a nasty market maker, you know, just to F with the longs. That's all this was. It was just a shakeout. That's all this was. It's already turning down. And I think it was needed technically because the 10-year did not reach its area. It was still not there. So that was the clue that maybe I didn't catch on. And if I would have caught on that, I could have waited to time my buy right when the 10-year hit that. Then we would have been here. It would have been a perfect timing. So that's why you need to watch for perfect alignment across the market. Because if you don't have it, there's always a clue. And so if we looked hard enough, we would have found it. But let's go to the TLT real quick, guys, and see what's going on with that ETF. All right, so TLT, so that's a pretty big 4, right? Pretty big 4, but it's okay. Because as long as this pivot is above there, it's still a 4. So it's still a 4. I'm cool with it. So I'm still looking for that. Can it keep going down? Maybe. But then once you overlap that 1, then it becomes a 1-2, 1-2. Okay. This is just a straight down, essentially straight down crash correction in an ABC that just doesn't seem to want to end. But it's going to end. It's not going to just go forever, right? It's not going to just do that. So it's going to end. And I already see it turn up. So it already ended. The cycle already ended. On close, and see the 15-minute massive bullish divergence. So this should be going up tomorrow. Now, what happens after that is anyone's guess. You may get a retrace to the 50, and then it goes down, and then this is done for, because then the rates have bottomed. The rates have bottomed, and there's no flat. And everyone's like, a flat. Well, guys, I've been calling the flat for the last 3-4 months in bonds, by the way. No one else was. I was. And we had entries to play that. This was unexpected. But then when I saw the 10-year, I'm like, okay. At first I was like confused, but now I'm not. Now it makes total sense. Because when the market doesn't make sense to me, I always go on the sidelines until I figure it out. And here's the TMF. Just again, it's the same thing. It's turning up. So if it has another day like today, then this isn't the count. It's gonna go to new low. Like I would definitely leave these trades, guys. I would leave them. So it's got to turn up. Now when it turns up, it goes 50 back. Then I don't know. It's anyone's guess. It's anyone's guess. Now I think it's still got more life in it, but that's my opinion. But that's where we are with the TLT and TMF VM. All right, less L. Let's look at what you got. Frog. Well, that's one I haven't heard of in a while. I think Frog we called the bottom on that on our channel like a year ago or something, because that's how it ended up on my screen. Let me find it here. Somewhere in here. There it is. What is going on with this thing? Yeah, we called the bottom here, guys, on our channel. We called that low. Someone bought it. Someone asked me about it. They bought it, so they're probably pretty happy. So now it played out in the 5-wave move, right? And you can see the 5 waves right here. I don't have to draw it for you. And what do I say? It goes between the 4 and the 2. So we're looking for $20. That's where it's headed. So this is very technical, very predictable pattern. And we pretty much have nailed it ever since. So I'll be looking for like just a little more downside in this. Yeah, see, a little more downside. So not quite there. Was it an after hours play? I don't know if it had earnings. Yeah, it looks like it had earnings or something or today. I don't know what it did after hours, but this is it. Now, if we break this low, then all bets are off. But this is the count for now. And then ramp. Let's go to ramp. Live ramp holdings. Let's take a look at what we got here. I'm so glad I'm able to be regular with these updates right now. Like I said, come the end of the month, that won't, I'll have to, I won't be tied up. I'll do updates. It won't be like this for a while, for a few more weeks into September until I get settled in. But for now, I'm trying to do this. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I can't call that a 3. What is this mess? So those lows hold. That's good. We'll have to call the lead in diagonal. Just moving in 3 waves. There's really no other good way to label it. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3. Let's go back. Let's go back here and look at this one more time. Yeah, maybe we'll just do it as a 1, 2, 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you come down in 3 waves. You hit between the 4 and the 2 perfectly, and now you're coming out. So this could be a very bullish setup if this low can hold at 1573. And we'll have to go to a lower time frame to see if we see some divergence there. And we do. So I would say that for now, I would assume this is the pattern until, basically we hear otherwise, It's not perfect, but you get the idea. So we'll see what happens. Good luck with that if it works out. Now, it has to hold 1537. Okay, CIX. All right, this one's interesting. Looks like some kind of ABC. And then this looks like 5 up. Barely have divergence, so I'm going to be conservative in labeling it. So you'll have to be careful in it, something like that. And then from there, if that's 5 up, it's due for a big pullback down, back down again. And then out. It looks like the first leg is done. I would think you'll have one more leg down. All right, good luck with that. Long tries The target here would be 1416. Okay. Frog, I gave you that target. Ramp, you're in the target right here, right now. Okay, good luck with that. Chris Desbel, GME and XRP. So GME, guys, how's that doing? Did that survive? I'm sure it did today. I didn't look at it. If I can find it here. There it is. Well, I told you it broke out. Why ruin a good thing? Let's just keep it going. I mean, there's no reason for me to think it's going to go back down. Like, this was the end of the correction. I called, like I said, it was this had a good look to it. So there's no reason. Now, watch the flat, but because we made a higher high, that gives you more confidence. You should get another push higher at least. So if it becomes a flat and wants to drop down to 1980, $20, I think it'll find support there. But like I mentioned before, this is the final. You have to stay above 1868. I don't see any signs that it will be a flat. It may not do that. It may just keep pushing higher. No guarantee. I'm just showing you a couple ideas. XRP, yeah, and I have that. I need to add that up to my screen because I'm probably going to buy this. So this is one. So because it made a higher high, I know the correction's over. It hit like it meets. So this is more like I'd rather speculate on this than the indices. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking for different trades, right? I'm not going to long the triple Qs, but I'd rather long this. If I'm going to take a long try, I'd rather long this, something like this kind of setup. But I wouldn't do it here. If I just see a drop like this tomorrow, I'm gonna more than likely buy it. But again, don't copy my trades. I may be wrong. I may change my mind. But I'm just telling you like how my mind thinks to help you guys understand like how I'm thinking about things. All right, Ripple. I think we kept saying it's going higher, right? And that was the chart I had. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's not the one we want. That's the one we want. Well, it's playing out. I mean, it's pretty simple chart. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we could still be in 4 and do that. But as you know, once you get 5, you pull back. So I don't know exactly where we are with this. We could even still push higher in 3. I just say it should continue to be supported. We really want to take if you could take this out, this high out, that really will confirm a bullish case, and you could see a big breakout of this to the upside. I'm just saying. All right. And remember, we called it first down here on my channel. While the crypto market was crashing, we called this one higher, and it worked. I still think it's going to push higher. That's all I'm saying. Again, why it's bullish, I have no idea. I don't follow the news. But everyone wants it again for some reason. Okay, Microstrategy, still looking for that push lower. So we're in this B. So the idea is let's get an idea about B by looking at the previous leg down. So there's the B there, right? Let's take a look at how high it went from an RSI's perspective. You know, not very high. Let me see if I can get this lined up right here. Yeah, you can't even see it right. Let's go to the 45-minute. Here, where is it? Why did I have that there? Oh, it's a 5-wave move. Okay. So let me just look one more time. Make sure I have this leg labeled right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do. Okay. So a lot of times I like to go back to the RSI and look at how significant the pump was on the connector to get an idea. And you can actually see it was barely had any real push. Okay, so you didn't really learn much. So in other words, you're not going to learn much. So that didn't help. Sometimes it helps. here you can see the cycle broke. So you're in the connector. Now you're in B. This would be unusual to have it come all the way back up this high because that's not what happens here, right? It was shallow, it was short, it was weak. So that's what this represents. So I'd be surprised if it takes this high out. But if it does, you have to assume then B is pushing higher. So again, this is chop. I don't trade the chop. I don't trade this. I don't short it. I don't long it. I don't trade the chop. I just eat my popcorn and wait and wait and wait. And one day I turn on my computer and it's trading at $80. And then I go, oh, let's buy it. That's what I do. That's how I trade. This is just day trader battles. But if you want my opinion, I think I don't think it's going to push here because the personality, this wasn't like a big pump, like it was the personality of it. I just think it's not going to do that. But that's just my take on it. On the daily chart, well, it is. I mean, it is. If it breaks this high, it could be. Then you could ride this B up as a trade. Okay. But if you don't break this high, taking a long here could be catastrophe because you could be buying into that, which I still think is the preferred view. That's how I look at that. So good luck with that, Megan. Our Aldridge. I don't trade it with Bitcoin. I just have the price target at $84. That's the buy in MicroStrategy, guys, as long as divergence is erased. $84. And then that's where it should find support. Can it go lower? Of course it could. If you want to try to be, real, technical about it, you could try to do the Elliott wave until you find your 5 waves. But I believe that's where we're heading, somewhere down here. Now, if B extends, I don't think it changes by target unless we form a whole new connector for this wave. And this becomes in some other connector, and the correction goes on for months. But I do believe it's going to drop at some point. Clove. Let's look at Clove. And we called the top, by the way, here when it didn't seem believable. All right. So Clove's in the buy area and it turned up. So I mean, we pretty much nailed this. So I would imagine it just push up in 5. But once you have 5 waves up, it's 3 waves back. So how high it will go is anyone's guess. But I believe this looks like, to me, 1-2 and a bull flag. This looks like a bull flag that's about to break out into 3. That's what it looks like to me. All right, good with that. Good luck with that. Uranium. Yeah, I like uranium myself. Actually some selling. Oh my God. Who's selling the market? How dare they? Uranium. Do I even have? I don't think I even charted this yet. This is a really old chart. All right, let's see what we have. 5 up off the low, and we're correcting the price in uranium. We made a lower low. So if you look again, we always look for the late 4 bottom. That's 44. But that's just my rule that I see almost, a lot. But it's not like, gospel. So you definitely will get a bounce at 70.65. The question is, will the bounce fail or not? That I don't know. That I can't tell you. We'll get a bounce. If you're lucky, it goes to new all-time highs. If you're not, it will fail, and then we'll revisit this area, which is usually a really good area for these kinds of corrections to end. This looks like a 1-2, 1-2 setup. So that's why I say the uranium prices in the future could be really, really good. I like the URA, but of course there could be some pain. Some pain we have to get through, but the future is bright. The future looks good, but could be quite painful to get there for investors. Okay, good luck with that. Timothy Mann, thanks for the super chat. J&J. Let's take a look at J&J. What is this one up to? So looks like we called the low in that. We had the 5. Looks like we're in this 4. And we need this 5. All right, so a couple things about J&J. I always point out, you have 3. You're never guaranteed this 5. We saw Moderna, what happened to it. So don't expect the 5. It could happen, and if it happens, great. That means this is the low. Perfect. You have a great bottom. If you're not, it can come all the way back down, break this low, and be lights out, and this would be a connector wave, probably for the whole thing. Well, I have to go to actually the weekly. Yeah, the whole cycle. So that would be a pretty big drop for J&J if it doesn't make a 5. So it should be making a 5. And then of course a big pullback, right? We all know that, like a big pullback. But if we make 5 and put a pullback, you could buy that, because then more than likely that's a low, and this will be the first two impulse coming out of a major bear market in J&J. How's Pfizer holding up? Let's see. So we're probably just off by a swing. So we're just gonna relabel it based on our wave count. So as long as this stays above that, you're okay. There is some danger here in this chart because it's only 3 swings. I mean, I can't tell you how bearish it is if it breaks this low and we don't make a 5th wave. I mean, you all know that, because this would be corrective. I mean, this would be a calamity for shareholders. You have to think it's going to make a 5th wave. You would have to think. So that's what I'm going with, because the alternative seems unthinkable, because that's essentially collapse of Pfizer. So I think you'll make this 5th wave. MOS, and I call that idea backing into the low, because if that's not the low, then it's almost the unthinkable for Pfizer, which I can't see how it's going to collapse unless there's some news event that will emerge that will destroy the company. Maybe vaccine payback, who knows? Like, I don't know, who knows, liability or product failure, recall. Mosaic. Mosaic's in our buy area that we must have had for over like a year and a half on this channel. It finally got there. All right, let's look at this. Okay, you see this, how it's clustering like this? Typically, that's usually a sign it's going to take a capitulation move. So I wouldn't, yes, it's in our buy area, but I believe it's going to push lower. I would wait for that divergence to erase. Then it's probably time to start adding to the position. What's interesting is when I look at this leg, let's just kind of take a step back. So there's 3 down there. This reset this whole cycle there. So what you have to be careful about is you're not in a trap like this. And if that's the case, the target is way down here at 14. So, and we saw that divergence wasn't even erased. So I wouldn't buy, even though technically I have the box there. I wouldn't. That's how I would analyze it, only because of what I just saw in the RSI. I think it's going to come down lower into this area, and maybe even as deep as down here. Okay, so yes, is it a buy? If you got a long-term horizon, yes, but I think I would rather get it lower and wait and be more patient. Okay, that's MOS. Thanks, Timothy. Christoph Banks. Tyson. Yeah, that was one that sold off pretty hard once in earnings. You guys see Monster today broke down? Yeah. We have been waiting. We called it. We called the guys. My channel called the actual day this turned down. I said flat. Here it is. These flats are happening so often in this market, guys. It's almost like if you're doing Elliott waves, it's like assume the flat it's just assume flat first because we're just seeing it way too much. I'm seeing it way too much these days. But that's what it turned out to be. All right, let's go to Tyson. This is sloppy connector wave. So in this connector wave, we came down in an impulse and an A, and now it's got to finish this thing out. Obviously, it's got some room to run. So I would call this like and then it's coming out. So I don't know how high it's going to go. No one knows. But I believe it's still going to push higher. It's got to finish this impulse. Even if it pulls back, it's probably just something like this. Okay, so what it looks like, I believe it's going to go higher. See, it's got to take this peak out. It's got to surge out of that to finish this B in this third wave. I think it's got more upside, but at some point there'll be a whole nother leg lower coming. And then this whole top will break. Okay, I don't know when that's going to happen though. But I don't think it's going to happen now. I think it's still got more upside in this connector. All right, good luck with Tyson. Thanks, Christoph. Dylan, let's go to your next question here. SPGI. SPGI. Let's see what we got. S&P Global. All right. It looks like another chart we nailed perfectly. We are in a Y, so that would be over right there. Right there, right there. So guess what's coming? Holy shit. Right there. So this could be, if you want, try a short. Short it, close it out if it goes above 505. And you may be able to just leave that open for the next 12 to 24 months. That's what it looks like to me, man. Of course, if you take that out and negates this, it turns it into something completely different, which would be an impulse off the low, which would still pull back, but it won't be like a catastrophe like I have here. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So we don't know. We just don't know for sure. It's only 3. It's only 3. So the market doesn't know. It's stuck. It's in a technical like stalemate. I think it, but there's your third swing. So you have your third swing. So this has to hold, or it's not valid. It's not valid. I think it won't be valid because you need 3 within the wave. Here, 1, 2, 3. I had that labeled wrong, by the way. It's WXY. There, that's better. 3, and then 3. Okay. And then CNX. CNX. Let's take a look at that. CNX. All right, it looks like it's pushing higher. All righty, let's see. So nice three-wave move down. So clearly that was a massive extended fifth wave right there. Finished. And now you're pushing out. Maybe one more high. I'm thinking it needs one more. Probably could end at any moment. Any moment. Now, if it could erase divergence, then it becomes a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then like boom. So I would not even try to short it. I'm just labeling it like I have it. But it could easily extend, erase divergence, and just surge out of this. Okay? So it's hard to say. There's no real trade in this, but I'm just showing you the chart I see. As long as this bearish divergence remains, and if this monthly cycle like starts to break down or weekly, then it's probably topped. Okay, good luck with that. All right, Chris, yeah, let's take a look at Microsoft. All right, I hadn't looked at this at all today. I have this ABC, so again, it's trying to decide, is it going to stay in this connector and do like a boom, 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 and then drop? Or is it finished and it's about to collapse tomorrow? Like that. Just like the market. It just looks like the stock market. I don't know. I don't know. But I do think if you do come out and take this high out, then you're in this connector. Then it could go as high as 437 into this area here and then reverse for its final leg lower. Okay, so I don't know. I like it just depends. So there's no real clue other than maybe the market will be the first sign. You watch the market. Honestly, I don't know. I think you're just going to have to decide. But this really, again, there's no trade here for me. It's chop. It's chop city. Yes, it comes down here. I like to buy it. Comes up here. I wouldn't even short it here, but I would expect it to reverse. I'm just eating my popcorn, going fishing, watching on my phone while driving around, and I'm like, oh, Microsoft's at 360. Hell, let's buy it. That's how I would trade this. This to me, this is just day trader battle. I wouldn't really do much here with it, but I'm just showing you the chart. There's two scenarios, but I can't tell you which one. But the way this market's going is probably this one. Okay. All right, Meta, CEIX. Let's look at that. Console Energy. So we got some bearish divergence there. Looks like it's peaked. I'll be looking for at least another leg lower. Down into this area. And it should bounce, but the bounce can always fail. So you have to keep in mind. But I think it's topped and it should be heading lower. Now, like I said, it can bounce, but it could also go down. So we just don't know. The good sign is it's near the 4. So that could be deep enough to find a bottom right here. Okay, let's go through comments. I'm going to first scan through comments real quick and let's see. So UVEX, here's the thing with UVIX, guys. It's a vehicle for scalp. It's great for day trading. Like personally, I'll tell you, like today, I lost on the bond trade, so I'm like, I can't have a losing day. So what do? I go to my gold faithful, UVIX, and I just scalp it and make back all my money. In the way, the way the day trade these UVIX, this UVIX shit here is pretty simple. You just got to. This is where you use a different system that I've never really shown you guys, but basically you go to like the short time frames. Like I even go to the 1 minute, and I just look in as it's declining, it's declining, it's declining. Boom, you got capitulation right there. So I was just waiting for some kind of like show of capitulation. So I piled in here, and then just got a good enough pump and then dumped it. But I had a big enough position that it made good money. So then I finished the day without a loss. Now, that's what this is used for. That's what I use it for. Now, some people buy and hold it, which I don't think you can. But if you believe in a crash, then you buy and hold it because then it's just going to go. It's going to come up to $27, $28. That's where it's going. If technically, as long as it can hold these lows, the bull case is valid. When you break these lows, it's pretty much going to melt down. Okay, that's how I look at it for a while, and then it has to reload. I'll need time to reload again for a big move like something like this. But you just day trade. This is just a day trading thing that you have to have a system to like try to play this. If you don't, if you got, that's how I would look at this UVIX stuff. But everyone's got their way of doing it. So Bitcoin I gave earlier. IWM should be done for, but it's in a wave 2. As you know, wave 2 can keep going higher. Did GME already? Did all those that I'm seeing. Tesla. Let's look at Tesla. I'm curious at Tesla here, guys. Let's look at that. All right, it's in an X. Could be a triangle for X. And then drop. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's a again. I hate trading X waves. I hate trading B waves. They're just a mess. So we'll see what it goes. Yeah, how did natural gas do today with oil pumping? Went up. Yeah, guys, I'm not like an expert in natural gas, but I'm still looking. I was looking for this flat, and I think we're getting that. So maybe it could get up to like 2.2, 2.3, but then I'm looking for a massive move lower, just like I'm looking for oil to break down massively. So that's what I'm looking for, guys, okay? That's but I don't, natural gas, I don't do well trading it, so I don't trade it. So you're just going to have to just do what your gut says. But I'm just giving you my take on it. But I don't trade natural gas. $10,000 worth of GME. Yeah, I don't know how much I'll buy. Um, it depends. I don't know. If it pulls back, it'll probably be tempting to give it a shot. Yeah, Microstrategy did split. Oh, okay, they settled the case with Ripple. Well, maybe then maybe the market's anticipating they'll get back on Robinhood and these other exchanges, which is very bullish if that happens. All right. Oh, is that right? Okay, I'm reading about the geopolitical comments here from Ukraine. Invasion into Russia just happens to be very close to the main pipeline. Lennar. Oh, DR Horton. Oh, well, that'd be crazy if they, yeah, if they blow up that pipeline, I bet the price will go through the roof, right? Natural gas. So, let's see. DR Horton. I'm not even sure what the symbol is. DHI. Yeah, it looks like it's turning. I would say as long as you're below 186, 187, you're looking at it down to like 127, maybe lower. So good luck with that. Uh, Coin, yeah, I will show Coinbase. I have that chart. I'm only showing the chart that I have charts on. I'm only showing what I have charts on. Again, I'm looking for one more push lower. It's stuck, stalled. It's like stuck. Boom. But not. It doesn't look like it. You know, it's pretty close. Hopefully, maybe it goes to 150. You know. Yeah, silver. I hit silver up already. It's finished that fifth wave I mentioned earlier last night, or a fifth wave, and now we came up. So now it's either five will extend in like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it's finished this big five waves down, and it will come back up to 30, and then the market will have to decide what to do. Yeah, I'm glad I could help everyone. You know, like I always say, I can't get everything right. You know, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not, I can't, I'm not infallible, right? I get trades wrong just like you do. But a lot of times, uh, you know, they work out. And when they don't, I always like to study and see. And I think the TLT trade was the 10-year wasn't in full alignment with the trade. And that was the clue and that's why a lot of times I also will look at the entire market, like again, looking for that alignment. If I see misalignment somewhere like that, I won't take a trade because just that very reason. But so the tricks that could happen. So we'll see how things go tonight, guys. I hope everything goes okay for you tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I think we'll get resolution tomorrow, whether we're going to get this big move or we're going to get like a little bit of a pump and a massive drop. But that should play out tomorrow, or we'll see the reversal start, or we'll just surge out of this tomorrow, and and then we're in this pattern. So we'll have to wait.